Alright guys, welcome back to Age of Empires Mobile. Today we're going to be talking about Timur. I've had Timur for quite a while now. I've fought in a couple Mightiest Empires with him. I use him all the time in Apex Arena. In this video, this is going to be an in-depth review about his stars, his talents, his attributes, all of his skills, who I use him with, and who else I think he can use him with, as well as I'm going to talk about is he a good investment for free-to-play and low spenders, and if you choose to invest in him, where do you invest in him and how far do you take him? Let's start off with his active skill. Rage cost 250. It deals might damage to the enemy troop. 500% might bonus. This damage has a 70% chance to ignore 60% of the target's defense. You're going to enter combat with 150 initial rage. Now, 150 initial rage on a 250 rage cost is very, very good. You're going to have a very quick, you're going to pop off your skill very, very fast. Here's the thing. He doesn't have AoE. However, he's dealing a very high single target damage factor. With his 70% chance to ignore 60% target's defense, it means that on that hit where you ignore 60% defense, you're going to punch your enemy really hard. However, if it does not pop off on the first skill, that's fine because your rage cost is 250. You're already popping off your skill fast. You're not going to have a hard time coming up onto your second turn. So if the 60% defense ignored, if you don't ignore the target's defense on the first turn, there's a very high chance it'll happen on the second turn. Extinction Blade. For the first 9 seconds after entering battle, increases the hero's damage dealt by percentage. It reduces your troops' damage taken by percentage. Every 9 seconds thereafter, increases the hero's damage dealt by percentage when serving as the commander. Reduces your troops' damage taken by percentage when serving as second in command. This effect decays 1/3 every 3 seconds. Lasts for 9 seconds. It's a pretty good skill. Now, he does come with weak spot attack and spirited pursuit. We all know what these skills do. Weak spot attack, after launching a normal attack, it deals might damage. It increases your hero's damage for 3 seconds. And then spirited pursuit is there. This build I have on Timur, I use it for archers. And it's a very vanilla skill. It's a very vanilla build. It's just your basic single target might damage. But what I like about this build is that despite it being very vanilla, it's going to be working very hand in hand. Weak spot attack's there to deal a damage bonus and then buff your own march. And then Spirited Pursuit is there to just follow behind and deal some more damage. This is a good build if all you want is just to focus raw damage. He does have Tempered Steel. After any of your heroes trigger a critical strike, it recovers troop units and reduces your troops' damage taken. So this is going to be like, it's going to give you survivability and a little bit of sustain. And then we've got Critical Insight right here. Increase all your heroes' critical strike rate by a percentage when dealing a critical strike. Reduces all enemy heroes' armor by a numerical value up to 3 stacks. I prefer weak spot attack and I prefer Spirited Pursuit because I use him as a primary, and with my archers, all I want to do with him is bring as much damage output as possible. Now, his stars. This is where Timur is kind of limited in how you can use him. For the first 9 seconds after entering battle, increases the damage boost provided by Extinction Blade by an additional 10% and increases the damage reduction by an additional 5%. It's alright, whatever. This is really good for the open field. This star is really good for the open field because it's that first 9 seconds, it counts if you disengage and then re-engage in combat. So if you disengage, you get your battle report, and then you re-engage. Boom, you got that 9 seconds buff again. His third star, after 9 seconds in battle when serving as the commander, increases Extinction Blade's damage boost effect by an additional 9%. After 9 seconds in battle, when serving as second in command, it increases Extinction Blade's damage reduction effect by an additional 6%. What I don't like about this third star is that you're only going to get the value from this star as soon as you hit that 9th second in battle, which means you're only going to get it from 9th second onward. It's not terrible, but it's like, how long are you going to be getting this? Like, he will be good in battle over time, and this is going to be good in Apex Arena where you're fighting to the death. But for the open field, a lot of people honestly are disengaging and then re-engaging a lot. It's not as bad as other games where people will like just like literally run back and then try to run back and forth. No, like people do fight, but how often are you going to get this effect to trigger and then last long enough where you're going to notice it take effect? His fifth star, again, after 9 seconds in battle, the buff provided by Extinction Blade will decay 1/4 every 3 seconds. So, off the rip, if you're a free-to-play or low spender, I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler. You might be better off taking this guy to 1 star and maybe 2 stars if you just want to have troop damage. His third and fifth star obviously are going to buff his performance, but you have to keep in mind you're only going to get this effect after 9 seconds in battle. So you have to pump all those universal tokens into Timur to get the third star and then fifth star for the effects to only trigger once you're in battle for 9 seconds onward. So for the talents that I have on Timur, this is from the ranks. I went all in on health, armor, and might. War hardened, this is what I have. Suffocating raid, strength in numbers, intrepid warrior, military tactics. He's not max. My Timur is by no means maxed out, and I don't plan on maxing him out. I'm going to leave him at 1 star probably forever. But his attributes are going to be might, armor, strategy, siege, might 403, armor 306, strategy 236, siege 98. You can obviously change and manipulate these numbers depending on how you select your talents, but overall with Timur, I went strictly for an open field build. Before we get into the pairs that I use him with, I'm going to talk about, is he a good investment for free-to-play and low spenders? And I'm going to say heck yeah. I'm going to say he's an amazing commander that everyone should pick up. Why do I think everyone should pick him up? Is because, believe it or not, Timur is part of the same cycle as Cyrus the Goat. Timur is... he's a pivotal hero. And what I mean by pivotal hero is that moving forward from this generation of heroes onward, Timur and Cyrus the Great are kind of like a bare minimum of what you want to be bringing into an open field lineup. So yeah, I do think that anyone should grab Timur. Everyone should grab Timur. He's good with archers, and he's going to be good with cavalry as well. We're going to talk about cavalry at the very end. But yeah, he's good with archers, and he's good with cavalry. And not to mention, he's one of those heroes where I do believe he falls into the 1 star category. Cyrus the Goat, if you guys watch my Cyrus video, I said Cyrus is a hero where he does provide good value at 1 star. But to not take him to 3 stars is just a mistake. That is not the case with Timur. With Timur, I'm going to start calling him Timu. With Timu, you can take him to 1 star, and honestly, he's going to do great things for you. He's going to bring a very good... He's going to be very good for you at 1 star. You know, like I said, his skills, his effect will be better at 3 and 5 stars, but you're only going to get that effect once you've been in combat for 9 seconds and onward. So... it's nice. I think Timur, it falls into that 1 star hero category where you can take him to 1 star and he's fine there. I myself use Timur in my archer lineup with Mehmed and Bellevue. Bellevue is just awesome because Bellevue is she just feels like such a vanilla DPS hero. She's there to just launch out might damage, single unit, target. It's great. Mehmed is going to be there to go back and forth between damage taken reduction and damage output amplification, as well as also bring some high might damage to your lineup as well. And then Timur is there to do what Timur does the best. So this is the archer lineup that I use with Timur. If you're running Lubu with calves, I think Lubu, Timur, and then whoever you want to use, whether that be Ronnie or Attila, that's going to be fine. But yeah, I think Timur is going to be replacing Mulan as a primary, and then Mulan is going to be bumped down. Then you might run, if you're a serious archer player, you probably are going to want to run like a Mulan, Ronnie, and then Attila, and then you can run Timur, Mehmed, Bellevue. Or if you're a Cav player, you can do Lubu, Timur, and then whoever the heck you want. But overall, this is what I use for Timur, and yeah. Yeah, Timur really is there to replace Mulan as a primary if you're still using Mulan as the archers. Or he's there to replace your Guan if you're running Lubu with calves. So, that is my Timur in-depth guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.